Customer Experience Redefined, Advancing Business Spaces with Technology. So we're at the top of the hour and we're going to go ahead and get into today's presentation. But first, let's start with some housekeeping items. Today's presentation is expected to take about 45 minutes, but if you get disconnected or experience any technical difficulties, you can catch a replay of today's event later at electrosonic.com, or we're going to send out the slides roughly 24 hours after the event, along with a copy of the recording. So expect that in your inbox tomorrow morning. By default, your line is muted, but we encourage you to interact with the speakers using the Q&A panel at the bottom of your screen. You can go ahead and send in your questions at any time, and we're going to have the speakers address them at the end of today's presentation. So feel free to chime in using that Q&A panel at the bottom of your screen. We know your time is valuable, and we thank you for being here with us today. So with that said, let's go and dive in. My name is Alex Wester, and I'm going to be your moderator today. We are also joined by Maurizio Capuzzo, Chief Marketing Officer at Electrosonic. Maurizio is an innovative sales and marketing executive with more than 20 years experience managing all aspects of marketing communications in the B2B sector. He's mastered specialties including hardware, software, telecommunications, and video conferencing, as well as experiential technologies here at Electrosonic. Maurizio fuses the science of data with the art of visual and verbal communication, developing programs that add value and help clients to foster innovation. Hey, Maurizio.
Hello, good morning and good afternoon.
Thank you for being here today. We're also joined by Yiannis Cabolis. Yiannis is Electrosonic's Director of Technology Innovation, and he's responsible for connecting all of our various departments and divisions around our technical solutions. Yiannis monitors developing technologies, maintains awareness of best practices, and drives research and development as Electrosonic's Director of Technology Innovation. Hey, Yiannis.
Hi, hello, everybody. It's good to be here.
Good to see you. All righty. So moving forward, we'll take a look at today's agenda and get started. So first, we're going to tell you a little bit about Electrosonic, and then we're going to dive in and take a look at some key statistics from an Association of Briefing Program Managers survey and discuss some of the key challenges facing briefing centers and corporate experience centers in the post-pandemic era. Next, we'll look at the future and direction of the briefing program and experiential corporate spaces and look at some common components of how folks are overcoming their challenges. Next, we'll look at some of the solutions, and then we'll wrap up with a Q&A at the end. So again, please send in your questions using the Q&A panel at the bottom of your screen.
So thank you, Alex, for the introduction. Again, my name is Maurizio Capuzzo, and joining you from Burbank in California. And about Electrosonic, the company was founded in 1964 by Bob Simpson, actually with a two-room on the Greenwich vegetable market area in London. And since its inception, with, for example, one of the first expo shows in 1967, really expanded the company from an experiential point of view. And today, after 58 years of presence, with more than 388 employees in the design, building, so of system integration and support and managed services, we have delivered more than 18,000 projects over 60 plus countries in the world. So with a footprint of global reach. And we have delighted at least 1 billion of people who had a direct experience in one of our installations. And if we look at the type of customers, you can immediately see that customers that we serve. We serve the top 500 Fortune companies for location-based experiences, and as well as specialty industry vertical like theme parks, museums, esports, and so forth. So highly qualified customers with different needs and purposes reach us for helping with their solution. So today, webinar is about experience and what it takes to be redefined, because a lot of changes and transformation are occurring in our industry. And the first thing that I want to say that Electrosonic, working with designer, architect, experience agencies, and content provider, we are really committed to enable unique world-class of experiences through our polysensory and technology expertise. Our vision, in fact, is to push the boundaries of technology to unleash the power of human experience. So we as a company are positioned to be the experiential technology company in the industry through this multidisciplinary approach and expertise that we bring. So today we will try to share some experiences or some good learning from our technology design, executive consultant, from our system integration, and what it takes to redefine an experience for Innovation Hub and for Experience Center. Because clients are more and more demanding more than a traditional customer experience. So hopefully we will be able to share some of the, let's say, ingredients or best practices that we leverage and we use when working with content provider, experiential marketing companies, or designer and architects. So the first thing is that change is definitely what is at the core for any Innovation Hub and Experience Center. And many business operations also are facing the same challenges that exist today in the world, from the pandemic. And by the way, you can see in all the slides that we will be showing during today, these come from installation and projects that we have executed during the pandemic time as well. You know, now there is the war in Europe and the looming of economy slowing down. So Experience Center and Innovation Hubs are no exception to the change. And even in this moment of challenge, they need to figure out how to continue to evolve and create a stronger connection with the customer. That's why we gave a title to Experience Redefined, and because the focus for customer is really to create that strong and bonding connection with the guest experience with the client and create experiences that matter. So we will share 3 elements that we have identified being the key of these experiences that count and how to be intentional about it. First of all, I'm sharing here in this slide some information from the North America survey of ABPM, the Association of the Business Program Manager. In their last survey, they, through their association and members, they asked what is the primary purpose of an experience center. And, you know, number 1 came the ability to foster and enhance the overall customer satisfaction, which is critical to any company today who care about their brand and their solution. So understanding how the guest and the customer respond to the value proposition of any B2B organization. The second is building and strengthening this relationship, and therefore finding that in what it means in terms of value proposition and being intentional about that. And the third, but last but not least, is about advancing the sales cycle. In fact, Experience Center, Innovation Hubs really help and contribute to the bottom line of the business organization. Always in that survey among their peers, ABPM found out that 79% of the respondents through the Experience Center and Innovation Hub, they were able to identify new needs, and over 74% were able to increase the amount of sales, increasing the average revenue per customer as a result of that active engagement and participation within the Experience Center. So from this point of view, we at Electrosonic, working with designer, architect, Experience Center, we see three major trends or best practices about these Experience Center that deliver compelling value proposition. The first is being an immersive engagement. The engagement starts not only during the physical or virtual visit, but before and after, and being able to engage before, during, and after in an immersive way is fundamental. In fact, we have noticed that all the customers that transformed their innovation and hub and Experience Center, they were really intentional in that being immersive all around the buyer journey, the different touch points, and so forth. The second aspect is about creating the wow moments. Those moments of gasping, if you want, for the guest and the clients when they engage with your brand and with your solution. Because we know that for a brand to be relevant and be remembered, it has to be strongly connected, not only from a rational point of view, but also from the heart, from an emotional point of view. And in fact, we have observed that those Experience Centers that embed wow moments within their guest journey show a 16 to 24% higher effectiveness and enjoyment score when asked. So the third and last important aspect is the memorable storytelling, the memorabilia. Because in order for a memory to last, the power of the story cannot be overstated. So the storytelling, the content is key. And that's where the design of it play a fundamental aspect. Telling a compelling story to make the brand relatable really required a strong design, and that is from the concept then to the technology design, and so that that experience can be enjoyable for clients. And in fact, you know, we have a slogan, or you can say a tagline: we fuse architecture, storytelling, and technology. But by this, we mean that it's only by being able to fuse the power of the story, of the content, with the physical or virtual space in a connected and compelling way through multiple or polysensory technology, that this intentional, being intentional about an Experience Center comes to life. So 3 elements that we have observed that we take in our, if you want, operating principle when working with architects, experienced marketing partners, and content provider. The first is innovate outside of the déjà vu. So we pay a lot of attention through our arm of executive consultants to understand the vision that the clients has in what they want to achieve. And we do the same with the designer, with the architects, with the content provider, with the marketing agency, the experiential marketing agencies. Because at the core of any executive briefing center, experience center, innovation hub, it's very important to have that innovation to outplace, if you want, the current existing, what the current existing format in the company we have, or your direct competitor propose. So this EC experience center needs the right type of executives, consultant who have the knowledge through charretting, brainstorming, R&D, and ideation, guide you on how that vision can be executed through a multidisciplinary technology approach. The second element is to make technology invisible. And by this, I don't mean simply to make the technology disappear in the proper design and setup of the physical space, but also within the embedding that technology within the processes and the buyer and guest journey throughout the experience in the innovation hub or experience center. So the key is that our executive consultant, for example, really play a lot of time in listening, defining, and designing, as I mentioned earlier, the most appropriate steps and charretting, blue skying with you, defining the right technology specification, and how to embed within that process before, during, and after, and to make that experience gasping and create those incredible moments. The third element is about the space, because space is a canvas, is your canvas to tell the story and to engage effectively the customer and the guest in the journey. The ultimate goal is, therefore, on our end, is always to create flexible spaces that adapt to the evolving story and narrative, to your evolving brand and buyer journey, so that also during any given day, you might be able to use the experience center in the morning to talk about your solution for a manufacturing company. 2 hours later, reshape with the minimal logistical problem and have a healthcare demonstration of your solution, and maybe have a cocktail party for the community and the partners later on at your experience center. This flexibility for spaces, again, happens at the design phase, where this multidisciplinary technology can be identified to provide the right form of experience using the right technology for the different moments in your buyer journey. So with that, I'm going to pass the baton to Yiannis Cabolis, where he will explain how our goal is really working with you to have a collaborative approach for the projects end-to-end, so that you can save time, reduce all the different project uncertainties, limit the risks that complex projects create, and avoid costly delays. So with no further ado, Yiannis, to you for an overview of some of the key projects.
Thank you, Maurizio. Excellent points and insights. There is an evolution pattern of the technology innovation and implementation in experiential environments, which, as Maurizio mentioned, drives the concepts of innovating outside the déjà vu and the deployment of invisible technologies. Looking at technical solutions as components for delivering experiences at the high level, we have three areas of focus. First, the infrastructure, which is the key enabler of integration, whether copper, fiber, or RF, wireless. These are three ways technology today exchanges information, gets triggered, provides outputs, creating in turn platforms and ecosystems of technological solutions. Second, the ranges of experiences we want to deliver and the type of participation and engagement we seek from the visitors. In other words, where do they fit within the four types of experiential realms: the entertainment, the education, the escapist, the aesthetic. And third, as we're studying the physical spaces and the creative intents of the storytelling, we identify the key technology platform types that can be deployed creatively. These three steps are key in the fusion of architecture, storytelling, and technology. And one way to achieve this fusion is by incorporating what we refer to as the three Ps: polysensory, personalization, and platform technologies. The use of polysensory technologies together with personalization is becoming more and more common in experiential projects. So let's examine polysensory. We talk about polysensory technologies. We're speaking about ways to trigger sensory response. In traditional AV, images and audio are the ways to excite our sight and hearing, but we cannot stop there. Research and studies have shown that each of the primary senses triggers our amygdala, and each produces a response that affects how memorable what we experience will be or should be. As a species, we have survived due to this type of sensory, identifying danger, the food source, or a direction. Experiences can be enhanced if the technology platforms deliver more realistic stimuli to more senses. Examples of that could be the utilization of haptic transducers, smells, creative and immersive ways of delivering imagery, such as forced visual perspectives, or how about auditory experiences with forced echoic perspectives by using beamforming, wave synthesis techniques, or incorporating psychoacoustic algorithms. Audio played a big role in our survival than vision, and is the way we localize content. A rich forced echoic perspective can mentally transport a visitor to a location before they even see a visual. The digitization of our physical world has gotten researchers in universities experimenting with ways to synthesize flavors on demand and engage our sense of taste. Now, although this field is still in its infancy, there is no question in my mind that soon it will become available with predictable and consistent performances, just like smells are utilized as environmental effects currently when there is a demand. Personalization, although somewhat self-explanatory, is perhaps something that is often neglected, although it can tie best with a visitor's journey during the reach, engage, and retain phase. It can be deployed in many ways, originating from the visitor's first interaction with your brand, your website, while scheduling their visit, throughout their physical or virtual interaction, their arrival, and learning about your brand's history and achievements, and provide a meaningful and intentional connection with them on subject matters that they want to learn more about, means of how they want to stay in touch, their likes, and then, of course, provide you with feedback. Knowing one's interests, reasons of connecting, how they prefer to be communicated with, on the one hand, helps with all concepts around inclusion. On the other hand, provides data and insights to you while keeping their experience meaningful, customized, and dynamic. The use of technology platforms is how we elevate experiences. The essence is on how technology platforms are put together. In our world, new technologies are seen as platforms that would elevate experiences. We therefore look at developments in computational analytics and processing platforms such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, computer vision, pattern recognition, data aggregation, and how they could potentially elevate an experience when we design projects. For example, artificial intelligence and machine learning use data, and when tied with other technology platforms, the results can be truly profound, taking personalization, credentials, customization, and gamification to a new level. Interoperability in Internet of Things, IoT, among other criteria, requires our attention when we select technology platforms. Networked I/O nodes, various types of sensors, and human-to-machine, machine-to-human interfaces could make or break an experience. It is not obvious, but fusing technology platforms is an art. In my opinion, the means, since we cannot alter the rules of physics to create magic. So we look at some of the technology enablers. We have been touching up on some examples of technology platforms when looking at the 3 Ps. Although technology evolution moves in leaps instead of predictable increments, when looking at designing projects that deliver high engagement and experiential value to visitors, we think that the following pools of technology platforms will be key influencers. First, cloud-native solutions and edge computing, along with virtualization in content, collaborative tools, and beyond, will directly benefit audiovisual and control designs, as the ability to optimize data at the far end simplifies the technology deployment. Second, personalization, customization, gamification that we spoke of earlier rely on data, which can then feed AI and machine learning and drive analytics, delivering higher functionality, better performance, and services. Therefore, network I/O nodes, sensors, cameras, and software platforms within this ecosystem will play a significant role even on how experiences are conceived and designed. Third, extended reality evolution is key in driving immersive experiences. Augmented reality, virtual production techniques, multi-channel object steering technologies, beamforming, are among the technologies we are focusing on the delivering of memorable experiences. And finally, hyperautomation. AI, machine learning go hand in hand with IoT platform integration and data aggregation to drive automated processes and decision, and is a key in digital transformation. As you see, we think that technology enablers are embracing decision intelligence, autonomic systems, generative AI, the cloud, all a result of the ongoing digitization, datafication, and virtualization trends. Looking at the various environments we so often design, specify, and deploy technology solutions, we start to see a balance that each individual application requires. We are asked to deliver solutions which use technology platforms, utilize controllers, and user interfaces. In addition, they almost always have polysensory extensions, levels of personalization, and although some of the direct interaction, think of simple touchscreens, might provide information, educational content, etc., the creative design intents go beyond the put a screen here and a couple of speakers there. So let us briefly observe some examples of project Electrosonic has completed recently. And by recently, just as Maurizio mentioned, I mean built and completed during the pandemic. And I will provide a short high-level commentary on some of the creative technology concepts used, as we feel that they could apply to your spaces as well. The first example, IOSonic. Hyosung was described as a high technology playground. This was their first North America customer experience center, and it required multimedia solution that was flexible and engaging, where the visitors would learn about the Hyosung rich and innovative engineering approach to technology solutions, while at the same time learn from the visitors the challenges, engage them in open discussions, and in turn demonstrate how they could be a strong partner to new prospects. Both fixed and custom direct-view LED displays were paired with creative directional audio delivery systems with linear and dynamic media playback. Control surfaces provided an intuitive user interface for both the visitor and the operators, and flexible meeting spaces provided collaboration tools for content sharing and accommodate private discussions with Hyosung technology application specialists. In this project, all the headquarters grounds and spaces were treated with technology and managed from a centralized location for both the operation, scheduling of events, content management, delivering a high, flexible yet branded experience. Following is Illuminarium in Atlanta. There is one in Las Vegas as well if you happen to be visiting the area. Illuminarium, although a location-based experience, is a first-of-its-kind branded immersive experience in the form of a reprogrammable 30,000 square foot, 360-degree plus the whole floor polysensory space. Everything in Illuminarium is unique and required careful planning and execution. And by unique, I do not mean just in scale. There's real-time individual guest interactivity throughout the 3 billion projected pixels. LiDAR technology is what is utilized to deal with throughput and the range of activities. Imagery is handled by a technology partner of ours, Disguise, using RX servers, a must when you're running complex real-time scenes. The 3D audio beamforming and wave field synthesis technology was delivered by another technology partner of ours, Holoplot, a software-driven and hardware-enabled solution that delivers lifelike distance and directional perception auditory experience. Then a product with a name affectionately called Mover by PowerSoft completed the infrasonic infrastructure required to deliver effects such as the ground rumble of elephants approaching. Control, scheduling, and remote supervision is provided yet by another technology partner of ours, Smart Monkeys, and their Isaac platform. Earlier, we were covering concepts of the 3 Ps, and Illuminarium is a prime example as this concept is taken to the nth degree. The summit at One Vanderbilt blends elements of art and technology, and it's the last example located in Midtown Manhattan. Although it is an observation desk, I wanted to use this example because it is a prime example as well of the 3Ps, especially when it comes to the ways personalization was achieved by gamifying this aspect and integrating high sophisticated technology platforms, all of which elevated the polysensory experience. When entering the experience, the guests get in front of a custom-built application utilizing a face scanner and also provided a wristband with a QR code. The guest then proceeds to experience a variety of unique and highly immersive experiences that truly fuse architecture and storytelling with high-impact visuals and audio tracks. Dynamic control of lights effects, along with AV, accompanies you to the elevators as the rest of the experience takes place on the 91st and 92nd floor of the high-rise. On the 91st floor, the AV technology is augmented by reflections produced by strategically placed two-way mirrors and directional audio for the production of a soundscape along with the content delivery, so you get a sound and light experience. Then, branded as Unity on the 92nd floor, the guests scan their wristbands, and get to see their faces visualized on the cloud formations. This is a unique application of the concept of personalization and gamification, which can take a different yet still unique form in an experiential center by the use of integrating technology platforms and self-generative content. One would wonder, okay, this is all great information and insights, but the path to get there is not always straight. So what do you suggest? Is there a 1, 2, 3 process, a formula to follow? The answer is yes. Our experience has shown that the discovery phase is in project development the most important step, and it should never be missed. A project discovery phase is to establish the most appropriate design criteria and identifying the proper technology platforms and options for a project. We therefore have teams of executive consultants, just as Maurizio mentioned earlier, ready to collaborate and ideate around solutions to meet the needs and visions of your project, taking into consideration solution components, the 3Ps, polysensory, personalization, and technology platforms, key technology influencers and experience enablers participate in design charrettes and ideation sessions while considering methodology, topology, and deployment of existing, new, and emerging technologies. This is so that technical evaluations, initial concepts, and an opinion of probable costs can be identified. This type of discovery should never take place in a silo. Instead, it should be a collaborative exercise alongside other stakeholders, as our goal is to provide an enhanced and collaborative approach to the entire project development process that saves time, reduces uncertainties, limits risks and liability, and avoids costly delays. There are a couple more points I would like to make as we're approaching the end of our session and take your questions. In addition to the traditional audiovisual systems integration, Electrosonic has a professional team of technology design consultants with audio, video, and control, security surveillance and access control, information communication technologies, and acoustics specialists that operate as a single point of accountability and coordination. Our technology design consultants leverage their collective experience and know-how and are trusted advisors and partners addressing project demands and what-ifs holistically, and can host blue sky charrettes, proof of concept, mock-ups, or professionally document ideas and specifications throughout the project lifecycle from ideation to completion. Our aim today was to steer everyone's creative juices as we outlined the roles creative technology platforms and experiential design drivers assume, while providing you with some insights as you are thinking of your next project. At Electrosonic, our teams consist of multi-disciplined specialists, and as an organization, we adapt our methodologies and practices constantly with every project completed, maintaining a customer-focused approach. We are all very passionate in our roles and adhere to our values. Our goal for creating memorable experiences where people live, work, and play provides the fuel to excel in design, build and support the innovative technology platforms we deploy, which in turn drives our vision to push the boundaries of technology to unleash the power of human experience. These 4 steps complete the idea and the promise of Electrosonic as your partner. We have covered quite a bit of information in our session today, and we would like at this point to offer you an experience starter kit charrette as a gift, a complimentary 30-minute Zoom workshop to provide you an initial ideation for project development. 30 minutes of one-on-one time with an expert who will provide you the guidance and inspiration needed for your next big idea. Please look for the link in the communication that will follow our webinar with a slide deck sometime within the next 24 hours. And with that, I will pass it back to you, Alex.
Hey, thank you, Yiannis, and thank you, Maurizio, for all the insights you provided today on redefining customer experience spaces. We just have a few minutes left in today's presentation, and I've seen some key questions come through during the presentation. So let's jump right into them. As a reminder to anyone else on the line, if you have questions for Maurizio or Yiannis, please type them into the Q&A toolbar at the bottom of your screen, and we will try our best to answer as many as possible with the last few minutes we have today. So taking a look in the chat here, we've got one question around providing examples around personalization in an experience center. Yiannis, Maurizio, can you speak to that and how we've done that in the past?
Most certainly, I'll be happy to respond to this. So there are a couple of ways to do that. You can do it passively and you can do it actively. Passively, when the visitors enter, for example, receiving a ticket, it can have a unique QR code or a passive or active RFID tag, a bracelet. We have seen that in action at Disney World, Disneyland now. And as the visitors pass the various exhibits or experiential spaces, the storyline will require them to scan that bracelet or that tag, and that in turn will trigger commands on the content management system, for example, where you can dynamically adjust the content to what the background of that person is, what might be some of the questions and the content that you want to promote. So that's one way of doing it. The other and most advanced way would be to involve an app that it's downloadable, ideally during their first interaction with your brand from your website. And now you can, during their visit, the app can be used both as wayfinding, but most importantly, the NFC of that app can be used to virtually exchange assets between the visitor and you. It can even augment products, for example, so you can use the see it in your space type of thing. Additionally, sometimes visitors don't have the time, the full amount of time to spend with every single exhibit and information spot, so they can collect those assets to view them at a different time.
Thanks for that, Yiannis.
One thing to add, that this process, we work with the different partners, so either with an experiential marketing agency or a designer, architect. So we understand, we translate then what it means in the type of which technology to use to provide the best experience. So as Yiannis mentioned, it's a very highly collaborative work that we do with different partners that we would bring as well together to deliver the most effective experience.
Thank you for that. So another question here in the queue that we've got is, can you, just going back to the discovery phase, can you elaborate on it and talk about the importance in project development?
I'll be happy to respond to that. So the discovery phase is the time where you find out all the hidden difficulties that a space could provide. Example of that was I've done a lot of work at the Kennedy Space Center. And guess what? The size of the rockets and the buildings that they're housed in are all made out of metal and big, thick cement slabs. So forget about any type of wireless communication. The acoustics are extremely poor and so forth. So how do you deliver an experience? Well, during that process, which at Electrosonic we call technology master planning, which takes place at the discovery phase of the project, we sort out with collaborating with all the rest of the stakeholders and subcontractors about what exactly, how the space is going to be and how the various types of technologies are going to be available at all points where they're needed, whether that's a network, whether that's audiovisual, security, and so forth. So in this case, luckily, we were able to go through this process, the TMP, Technology Master Planning, and discover, for example, all these shortcomings in the space. And we were able to deliver a very, very good experience at the end.
Thank you for that. Well, that leads me into, I think, my next question for you is, how do we identify the right technology platform for our project? Can you speak on that a little bit, Yiannis?
Yes. So on the technology platforms goes in a similar way, right? We refer to technology platforms. It's a broad stroke for the various types of communication protocols. Sometimes, for example, networks, right, is a technology platform. It requires, of course, some know-how. It requires that initial step of discovery. So you can identify how are you going to be communicating with devices which are far away. Those which are near can communicate with each other fairly well. But then taking it to the next step is we are delivering integrated systems. And today, for example, a standard building management system can interface with lighting, can interface with other devices because green energy initiatives and so forth has required them to have occupancy sensors and so forth. But we can take that to the next level. So when we're looking at the technology platform, is there, for example, can we use those sensors on the occupancy which talk to the building management, not only to adjust lights, but to also, for example, say, hey, well, there were 50 people that just used the restrooms. Inform custodial to make sure that that the place is presentable. And you can do that not only with building management systems. You can use a platform, for example, like from your security and surveillance, such as your cameras, and they can be doing the counting and so forth.
So really, it's about pulling together all of the systems in a space into a single platform so that they can utilize each other and create a better customer experience.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for that. Well, we are almost out of time for today, but we have one last question that I want to make sure we get to. And so this is on the concept of invisible technology that we spoke about earlier in today's presentation. Can you explain a little bit more the concept of invisible technology and how folks can use it to improve their spaces?
Sure, I'll be happy to speak about that. So on the physical side of things, many times these ideas are born, originate in the entertainment environments, and we dress up technology, theme it so it becomes as part of the scenic piece and architecture. However, during the presentation, also Maurizio pointed out specifically around invisible technology that you have to also embed that technology and make it part of the experience. So when I brought up and we saw the summit, the one Vanderbilt, that was exactly it. The visitor had scanned their QR code, and suddenly, as part of the personalization, they had a wow moment viewing their faces formed on the clouds. That is one way where you can make something where the visitor almost sees no connection to appear magical. And that's one form of invisible technology.
Just to add on that, I would say that understanding the guest journey, and the experience, new form of embedding the technology can be found. As an example, we all have a smartphone, and we bring our own device with us in multiple destinations. So that could be another way to embed in a very invisible way through the IP and the access point of that smart device, and augment the experience for the individual in a space with AR and so forth. So it really depends. That's where content is king and dictates the power of storytelling, and then how a multidisciplinary technology can play a role in that.
Well, thank you guys for those explanations. And thank you to the audience for all of your wonderful questions today. It's obvious that the expectations of customers are only increasing, but it's really exciting to see how technology is moving faster than ever to meet those expectations and deliver memorable and immersive experiences to guests at every step along the way.